Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is all set and ready to introduce many different twists and turns that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to be a revelation film answering many of the questions that were actually not answered in The Last Jedi, that were basically implanted in The Force Awakens by J.J. Abrams, and the fact that he is now back for Episode 9, a lot of aspects of the sequel trilogy will be finally answered to the fans, and of course to the audience that goes ahead and watches this movie come December 19th of this year. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that J.J. Abrams has a plan in place in order to really make a lot of connections to the prequels and the original trilogy in Episode 9 that's going to change how we view some of the sequel trilogy-based characters, as well as some of the prequel trilogy-based characters as well. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren are said to be traveling to the abandoned First Order headquarters, where it's explained that they are in search of secrets that Snoke kept locked away many years ago. It's described that eventually Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren are able to make their way into the headquarters and into Snoke's original throne room that contains many secrets. It's explained that Kylo eventually comes across one of Snoke's hollow projectors, where once it's activated, Snoke begins to reveal a vital secret in the message. It's explained that in the scene, the Snoke hologram explains that he had played a role in Anakin Skywalker's turn to the dark side during the events of the Clone Wars of the Force besides Darth Sidious. Now, it's explained that Snoke unveils in the hologram that he had lured Anakin Skywalker to one of the Dark Temples, which was said to stir the dark side within Anakin Skywalker that would slowly grow over time, that Palpatine and his manipulative ways was the final push for Anakin Skywalker, where it's described that Snoke played a role in Anakin's dark side tendencies from the very beginning according to Snoke's hologram that plays in front of both Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and how this really does change how we view the prequel trilogy era and what's going to be explained in the Clone Wars Season 7. Now, the Clone Wars, by the way, how it's coming back in 2020 is going to have a lot of connections to the Rise of Skywalker in different ways. In fact, it's one of the many reasons as to why J.J. Abrams is really introducing a lot of Clone Wars material, as well as Star Wars Rebels material in this movie in order to really make it the true culmination of the Skywalker saga and beyond. Now, the Snoke hologram is said to unveil to Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren indirectly that he actually created the dark side tendencies within Anakin Skywalker by luring him to one of the Dark Temples over in the actual galaxy itself of the Star Wars universe. Now, what I find to be so intriguing about this is that this is all going to be explained further in Star Wars The Clone Wars in 2020, where that actual season is going to explore a lot about this. That's going to be pretty much teased in The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams. You can see what he's trying to do and the connections that are being made to Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 and so on and so forth. Now, Snoke is a character a lot of fans were very much disappointed with how he was used in The Last Jedi by killing him off so early on in the sequel trilogy with little to no backstory being told, and the fact that Episode 9 is really going to kind of dive into that more and is going to explain more about Snoke's backstory and exactly who he really was and what he did during his life, I think is really going to be another, healthy part of the Star Wars franchise, the fact that we will be learning a little bit more about such a main villain that got killed off so early in the sequel trilogy. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is that Snoke also mentions in the hologram that Palpatine and his manipulative ways was just the final push to the dark side for Anakin Skywalker. So Snoke is basically the one responsible for really stirring the dark side tendencies within Anakin himself when he went over to that Dark Temple. Now, the Dark Temples, by the way, are going to be a major part of the Star Wars universe in the new Disney canon. In fact, the new Star Wars video game, Jedi Fallen Order, is going to fall into that territory a little bit, where we will be learning more about the Dark Temples throughout the entire galaxy. In fact, there are a number of Dark Temples that reside over in the unknown regions, where Snoke actually lived for numerous years, building the First Order from the ground up and planning to rule the entire galaxy. So what I also like about this as well is that this kind of changes how we view the character of Snoke and how important of a character he really is to the Skywalker saga now, given the fact that he played a role in Anakin Skywalker's turn to the dark side, and that this is going to be explained further in the Clone Wars Season 7, I think is a great thing. That's another thing about Star Wars that I personally am really looking forward to, is to see exactly, how the Clone Wars is going to be handled by Disney and Lucasfilm, especially with the new season coming out next year, and where things are actually going to go after that. So anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.